At the beginning of the story, we meet two young women named Becky and Hunter. They're stranded on top of a 2,000-foot TV tower with no cell service, so calling for help isn't even an option. No signal, no way down, and no one has any idea they're trapped. Things get even worse because the tower stands in the middle of a remote desert, making it almost impossible for anyone to spot them. And every time one of them starts to drift off to sleep, vultures swoop in and begin pecking at their flesh. How did they end up trapped on this tower? And will they ever make it back down alive? Let's find out. One wrong decision turns an ordinary climb into a fight for survival. The story flashes back. Becky is rock climbing with her husband Dan and her best friend Hunter. Dan reaches into a small crack in the cliff to secure his grip, but a bird suddenly bursts out, throwing him off balance. He falls, but his safety rope catches him. Hunter and Becky rush over to pull him back up, but just as they're about to reach him, Dan's safety rope snaps and he plunges to his death. That single moment changes Becky's life forever, and nothing will ever be the same again. 1 year later, Becky is still devastated by the accident that took her husband. She's drinking heavily and sinking deeper into depression. Her father, James, is deeply worried and keeps encouraging her to move on, but Becky refuses to listen. Grief has taken over her life and she can't find a way out. One day, overwhelmed by everything, Becky tries to end her life by swallowing a handful of pills. But just then, Hunter calls her, stopping her before it's too late. The next day, Hunter visits Becky and tells her she has a plan to climb the abandoned B67 TV tower, and she wants Becky to come with her. Hunter knows Becky has always loved adventure, and it's been a long time since she's done anything like that. Still emotionally broken, Becky turns her down at first. Sometimes, one decision is all it takes to change the direction of your life. The following morning, Becky walks into the kitchen to take her medication. She pauses for a moment, thinks it over, and decides she's going to make the climb with Hunter after all. Without realizing it, she's about to step into the most dangerous journey of her life. Hunter and Becky set out for the tower. Along the drive, Becky scrolls through old photos on Hunter's phone. As she keeps swiping, she notices a picture with a man's hand resting on Hunter's shoulder. Becky asks who he is, but Hunter refuses to answer. Some secrets stay hidden until it's far too late to ignore them. Just then, Becky's father calls, but she lets it go to voicemail. After hours on the road, they stop at a motel for the night. During dinner, Becky learns that Hunter is now a YouTube travel creator, and her channel pays for all of her trips. While they're eating, Becky looks out the window and spots the massive TV tower they're heading to. Hunter tells her it's the 4th tallest TV tower in the United States. The tower looks abandoned, but it won't stay quiet for long. The next morning, Becky and Hunter get back in the SUV and continue their trip. As Hunter drives, she starts recording a vlog for her YouTube channel, telling her viewers that she's about to climb the towering structure with her best friend. What starts as another adventure is about to become a nightmare they never saw coming. They finally arrive at the TV tower. A locked gate with a large danger sign blocks the entrance, so they leave the SUV behind and continue the rest of the way on foot. The tower stands silent, but every step toward it feels more unsettling than the last. Along the trail, they come across several vultures feeding on the carcass of a dead animal. Hunter records the scene for her vlog, snaps a photo of the carcass, and uploads it to her Instagram account, where it quickly starts getting a flood of likes. A short time later, they finally reach the base of the tower. Hunter stops filming, while Becky stares up at its incredible height. The sight alone fills her with fear because ever since Dan's accident, she hasn't faced anything this high. Hunter encourages her to push through it, then clips the safety rope around Becky's harness before starting the climb. Fear hasn't left Becky. She's simply trying to climb through it one step at a time. The entire tower is old and badly rusted. The ladders sway with every movement, making every step feel less secure than the one before. Even before they reach the top, the tower is already warning them to turn back. As they continue climbing, a section of the old tower suddenly breaks loose and crashes to the ground. Becky freezes for a moment but gathers herself and keeps climbing. Every foot higher pulls them farther from safety and closer to real danger. Little by little, they make it halfway up the tower, about 1,000 feet above the ground. From there, the city looks unbelievably small. They stop to rest for a while, drink some water, and then continue the climb. Not long afterward, they reach nearly 1,800 feet. Only 200 feet remain. The higher they go, the stronger the wind becomes, and the aging ladders shake even more violently. Becky tells Hunter they should turn back, but Hunter insists they can't quit after making it this far, so they keep climbing. Sometimes the last stretch is far more dangerous than the journey before it. The final section of the climb is especially risky. Hunter carefully crosses several narrow metal platforms with ease, then reaches back to help Becky make it across as well. One careful step after another, because one mistake could mean the end. The higher they climb, the stronger the wind pressure becomes, making Becky even more uneasy. At the same time, the tower's old bolts begin working themselves loose one by one, but neither of them notices as they continue toward the top. The tower is slowly falling apart, and they have no idea it's happening beneath them. They finally reach the summit. Another bolt breaks free and drops to the ground below. Hunter starts filming her vlog again and launches her drone to capture better aerial shots. A little later, hoping to create even more exciting content for her viewers, Hunter hands Becky the drone controller and hangs off the side of the tower with only one hand. After getting the shot, she climbs back up and encourages Becky to do the same. Becky refuses at first, but Hunter tells her this is her best chance to finally conquer her fear. Trusting Hunter, Becky grabs her hand and performs the same stunt while Hunter takes photos of her. For one brief moment, moment, fear gives way to courage high above the desert. Once they're safely back on top, Becky takes out Dan's ashes. Thinking about him, she gently scatters them into the wind. The moment leaves both Becky and Hunter overwhelmed with emotion. What should have been a moment of peace is only the beginning of their nightmare. After that, they decide it's finally time to head back down. They clip their safety ropes back onto the tower, and Becky starts the descent. But the moment she steps onto the first ladder section, it suddenly snaps apart, sending both her and the ladder crashing downward. One step is all it takes for everything to fall apart. Hunter somehow manages to grab Becky and pull her back onto the platform. Becky has just escaped death, and she completely breaks down, crying uncontrollably. A moment later, the two of them look down and realize the entire ladder below them is gone. They check their phones, but neither has any cell service. Their backpack has also fallen onto a lower platform, taking all of their food and water with it. They spot an emergency box at the top of the tower. Inside, they find a pair of binoculars and a flare gun, but neither one can actually help them. The higher they climbed, the fewer options they had left. Seeing no way out, Becky turns her frustration toward Hunter, blaming her for everything that's happened. Now they're stranded, with no way down and no one coming for them.
Hunter tries to calm Becky down, telling her that someone might have heard the ladder crashing to the ground. Maybe all they have to do now is wait until someone shows up. Then Hunter notices that Becky injured her leg when the ladder collapsed, and blood is slowly running down it. Hope is fading, but giving up isn't an option yet. Hunter tears part of her shirt and wraps Becky's wound. A little later, Becky asks Hunter why she started vlogging. Hunter accidentally mentions Dan's name, and that immediately plants a seed of suspicion in Becky's mind. A short time later, Hunter checks her phone and remembers she uploaded a photo of the dead animal to her social media earlier. That gives her an idea. They type out a message asking for help, tie the phone to a rope, and lower it toward the ground, hoping it'll pick up a signal and upload the post. But the plan doesn't work. If there's a signal anywhere, it has to be on the ground below. They realize they'll have to come up with another way to get the phone down. Every failed plan makes the silence around them feel even heavier. They place the phone inside a shoe, secure it tightly with a sock, and throw it toward the ground. While they're waiting, Becky's attention suddenly shifts to Hunter's foot, where she notices a tattoo that reads 143. One small tattoo brings back a memory Becky can't ignore. She immediately remembers that Dan always used 143 as his code for saying, "I love you." Even then, Becky pushes the thought aside and focuses on finding another way off the tower. A little later, using the binoculars, they spot a man walking near the base of the tower with his dog. They scream as loudly as they can, begging for help, but they're simply too high up for him to hear them. Down below, the phone inside the shoe has shattered on impact, and their entire plan has failed. Rescue is so close, yet completely out of reach. As the man starts walking away, Becky throws both of her shoes toward him, hoping he'll finally look up, but he never notices because he's busy talking on his cell phone. Becky reaches for the flare gun, but Hunter stops her before she can fire it. One more chance slips away, and they're still trapped above the desert. Hunter explains that it's still daylight, so no one would notice the flare. Just then, they spot two more men a short distance away who have come out there to party. They decide to wait until after dark before using the flare gun. Sometimes survival depends on waiting for exactly the right moment. When night finally falls, Becky fires the flare into the sky. The two men immediately notice it. Becky and Hunter wave their arms and scream as loudly as they can, desperately trying to get their attention. Watching through the binoculars, they see the men walking toward Hunter's SUV, and for a moment they're overjoyed, believing help has finally arrived. But instead of rescuing them, the men steal the SUV and drive away. Hope arrives, only to disappear in the cruelest possible way. Completely devastated, the two women realize they're running out of ideas. Then Becky finally asks Hunter about the 143 tattoo. Hunter admits the truth. She had been having an affair with Dan for 6 months. The tower isn't the only thing falling apart, so is their friendship. Hunter apologizes to Becky, admitting she made a terrible mistake by hooking up with her husband. She confesses that she truly liked Dan and even fell in love with him, but Dan loved Becky more than anyone else, so Hunter ended the relationship not long after it began. The truth hurts even more, because the betrayal came from the two people she trusted most. Hearing that leaves Becky completely devastated. She realizes that both her husband and her best friend had been cheating on her. The next morning, she checks her phone and sees they've now been stranded on the tower for a full 24 hours. By now, both of them are starving and desperately thirsty. Hunter decides to climb down to the lower platform and retrieve their backpack. She ties the safety rope to the tower and begins lowering herself, but just before reaching the platform, the rope comes up short, leaving the backpack out of reach. Their only supplies are right below them, but still impossibly far away. With no other choice, Hunter unties the longer rope from herself, hangs from it, and jumps onto the platform. She grabs the backpack, pulls out a bottle of water, and drinks. Then she uses her selfie stick to hook the backpack onto the rope before grabbing onto the rope herself. Every risky move keeps them alive, but pushes them closer to disaster.
Becky starts pulling Hunter back up. Hunter climbs as well, and she's almost at the top when her hands suddenly slip off the rope. She drops fast, and Becky's heart nearly stops. After losing her husband, she can't bear the thought of losing her best friend too. For one terrifying second, Becky believes she's about to lose someone else she loves. When Becky looks down again, she sees Hunter still hanging from the rope. Hunter's hands are badly injured, but she's still holding on. Using every bit of strength she has left, Becky manages to pull Hunter safely back onto the tower. A little later, Becky writes a note asking for help and attaches it to the drone, hoping it can reach the nearby motel. But the drone's battery is too low, so it can't fly that far. She has no choice but to bring it back. Another
rescue attempt fails, and the tower becomes their prison once again. That night, Becky has a terrifying nightmare. She dreams that Hunter dies on the tower, and vultures begin feeding on her body. Becky wakes up in a panic, only to realize it was just a nightmare. The next morning, a new idea comes to her. She might be able to recharge the drone using the warning light mounted on top of the tower. As hope begins to fade, one final idea may be all they have left. Becky climbs onto the tower's beacon pole and plugs the drone charger into the warning light, but the electrical outlet is so loose that she has to hang there, holding the charger in place until the drone battery reaches a full charge. Every second she hangs there, the tower keeps testing her will to survive. After holding onto the pole for so long, her hands slowly begin to go numb. As if that isn't bad enough, several vultures suddenly swoop in and start attacking her. During the struggle, the backpack slips from her hands and falls. A while later, the drone is finally fully charged, and Becky climbs back down. She sends the drone toward the nearby motel, hoping someone will notice it. But just as it's about to reach the motel, it collides with a passing semi-truck and shatters into pieces. The camera feed goes completely dead. Their last real chance for rescue disappears in a single devastating impact. Seeing the destroyed drone, both of them lose what little hope they had left. Becky finally sits down on the tower, feeling completely defeated. For the first time, giving up almost feels easier than holding on. As evening falls, a storm begins rolling in, making survival even harder. Becky is completely exhausted and can barely keep her eyes open. She tries to fall asleep, but Hunter warns her that if she does, the vultures will attack them again. The storm isn't their only enemy. Something even darker has been there all along. Becky asks Hunter for her other shoe, so she can put her phone inside it and throw it down one more time. Hunter tells her the shoe is still lying on the lower platform. Then the story reveals a shocking twist. When Hunter jumped onto the lower platform earlier, the impact actually killed her instantly. Since that moment, Becky has been surviving completely alone. Everything she's seen and every conversation she's had with Hunter has been nothing more than hallucinations. After making it through the storm that night, Becky records a farewell video for her father, James, telling him she wants to come home. At the same time, James is desperately worried about his daughter. The person keeping Becky alive has only existed inside her own mind. The next morning, while Becky is asleep on the tower, a vulture starts tearing into the wound on her leg. She grabs the bird, slams it against the metal tower, kills it, and eats it to regain enough strength to keep going. Survival has pushed Becky beyond every limit she once believed she had. Using the rope, Becky climbs down to the lower platform, where Hunter's lifeless body has been lying the entire time. She sends a text message to her father, James, telling him she's trapped on the tower. Then she places her phone inside Hunter's shoe. Her final rescue plan depends on the one person she could never save. This time, she pushes the shoe into Hunter's body so it won't fall out, then throws Hunter's body off the tower. Later that night, James receives Becky's message. He immediately calls the police and rushes to the tower with the rescue team. When James arrives, he sees officers recovering a body from below. For one heartbreaking moment, he believes it's Becky's body. But then he spots Becky standing beside a police cruiser. Father and daughter run to each other and embrace tightly. After everything she's endured, Becky finally makes it home alive. And with that emotional reunion, this incredible story comes to an end. Some climbs change your life forever, and some simply prove you're strong enough to survive. Some people survive, but a part of them never comes back. If stories like this stay with you, subscribe to Hopkart Paru, because some scars never fade. Sometimes the nightmare ends, but the silence never does.